Arturo Vega, who worked with the Ramones and who is just such a great friend of mine, huge inspiration in my life. He was the Ramones light man the whole entire career. He was tight with my kids, just a person that was a part of my life. He came out to, after the Ramones had broken up, Johnny Ramone and Joe Strummer did a photo shoot for Guitar Player or something like that. And Arturo goes, hey, I'm coming out. I'm bringing the Mosrite, the original Ramones guitar. I'm going to pick up Johnny, and then we're going to the Whiskey. Strummer's going to be there, and they're going to do a photo shoot together. And Arturo's like, he goes, you got to come. It'll be great. So next thing I know, I'm at the Whiskey with Johnny Ramone and Joe Strummer, and they're meeting each other, and they're both going to do a photo shoot, with both their guitars. And Johnny Ramone knew me from, that's how I met Arturo, through the Ramones. When I was a little kid, they'd come through San Jose, and I figured out how to get backstage one night, and I talked to Johnny about baseball. My dad always had baseball on, and I learned then, if you want to meet a celebrity, don't talk to them about what they do. Don't, oh, hey, Johnny, what are the Ramones like? I just started talking to him about the Giants and the Mets. And he was like, oh yeah, and he liked the fact that I was a baseball fan. So him and I connected that night when I met him when I was like 16, 17 years old. And over the years when the Ramones would come, that night when I met Johnny Ramone, he was the person that told me, you don't want to be in a band. And you got to go to school, go to college. He was always trying to tell me to go to college. You don't want to do this lifestyle. It's terrible. I remember once Joey goes, John, he likes music, and Johnny, when I was in Wax and everything, always loved the fact that I went to college. Like when I saw him one summer, I go, hey, I graduated from Santa Clara University. He was like, you did? That's great. Like, it's good you're doing the band thing, but you went to college. He loved the fact that I went to college. So when I'm sitting there with Strummer and Johnny Ramone for this photo shoot, I haven't seen Joe Strummer since my 24th birthday, and a lot's changed. I remember Strummer looks at me, he's like, I've met you before. I'm like, yeah. And we start talking. He's like, and we talking about Side One Dummy and Flogging Molly and all these bands. And he knows everything about all the bands and he loves it. And then Johnny Ramone says to Strummer, hey, Joe, Joe Sib, I met him when he was a kid. And, I talked him into going to college. He went to college, and then he runs this record company now. I was the one, I got him to go to school, he finished too. He was really proud of that. And so that was his Johnny Ramone moment. And Strummer, just in full Strummer fashion, goes, yeah, Joe Sib, the college boy, like that. When Johnny passed away, this is how deep the school thing went. I was at his house, and we were doing this Ramones tribute thing. And it was right when he, right at the end. And he was giving me there was a photograph of him that Bob Gruen took. And he says, hey, I'll sign it for you. And I said, you don't have to sign it. And he goes, oh, you can sell it. You'll make money. I go, dude, I would never do that. He goes, what do you want me to write? And I go, I don't know, man. You should write something about me going to school. And he goes, I'm not writing that. I'm not going to do that. And I go, all right. I left the picture. And unfortunately, like 3 days later, he died. And after the funeral and everything, Linda called me up to the house. And she said, hey, I got something for you. And, we went out to her car, and she pulls out of the back, and it's the Bob Gruen picture that Johnny had signed for me. And I look at it, and it says, to my pal, Joe Sib, stay in school, gabba gabba, hey, Johnny Ramone. And she looks at me, she goes, you don't know how hard that was for him to write.